Welcome to UK GK TV. This is Dave.
And this is Bill.
Go on, we were here to talk about something today, aren't we?
We are. Today we're going to do a little feature called Kits That Never Got Produced or Got Lost for whatever reason. Kits that we've seen but somehow never made it to the resin form.
Yeah, I mean, mine's a little bit different because mine's about a dinosaur, because I'm Dinosaur Bill, obviously. And you probably know that I still collect Aurora prehistoric scenes and make add-on kits for that range. When Aurora went broke in the mid-1970s, they left a lot of prototypes which were all destroyed. They sold the existing sort of tenable sort of casting equipment and stuff to Monogram and later on to Revell. But basically, a lot of the prototypes, a lot of the stuff that was in store got scrapped, which is a shame. Now, with the Aurora Prehistoric Scenes line, the major dinosaur that they forgot to do was the Stegosaurus, and that had been produced. It'd been designed by a guy called Dave Cockram, and it'd been sculpted by a guy called Bill Lemon, and that was an actual prototype. And in those days, the prototypes were exactly how they were going to come out of the mould. Right. So they used a spark eroding system, which is complicated. You might want to look it up, to produce injection moulds from the actual originals. So these things had to be in exactly the same format as the actual kit itself, complete with the hollowed out sections and the locating pins and stuff like that. Obviously, it wasn't made; it was scrapped. Everybody says, "Where's the Stegosaurus?" It's the only big one that he didn't do. They did a Tyrannosaurus, a Triceratops, all of those things, but he didn't do the Stegosaurus. Long and short of it is that a guy called Mike Evans that used to run a thing called Lunar Models, who later became Alchemy, he commissioned a guy called Rick Wyatt to make a clay version of the original, which he did, and then they cast this up, and it's been available over the last couple of years. So you can buy the Lost Aurora kit in resin form, and the reason I wanted to start out with this story is it's basically garage kits coming to the rescue of fans of a big manufacturer using the original materials. And I always think that's quite an interesting story, because normally garage kits are on the tail end of maybe injection moulded kits by larger manufacturers, and this is a story where it's worked the opposite way around. So Aurora fans got what they wanted, but through the garage kits rather than through a major manufacturer. Just thought it was
brilliant,
quite an
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
On the garage kit side, you might remember a company called Janus. Remember Janus?
Yeah, I remember Janus kits. Yeah.
I used to know John quite well because we used to trade kits, so I used to fetch him in for the memo shows. John was one of the best. You know, he was a really, really nice guy. He did some of the really quality stuff, like the Dracula. Remember the Michael Dracula? Yeah. The two that I don't think got into production, which I'm pretty sure because of his divorce, was the Phantom of the Opera, and he did a Phantom where he was leaning back and he was kind of, you know, that original Phantom post. Yeah, he did that one. If you look, we'll put the picture on in a short while.
Is that Lon Chaney Senior?
Yeah,
the original Phantom.
Yeah, the original Phantom. Yeah, and then he also did one of Ray Harryhausen where Ray was basically at his table, and he was, funnily enough, moving a dinosaur.
I remember seeing a photograph of the original, I think, and thinking, God, that would make a really good kit.
And it never got out there. The reason it never got out there is, John, this is an interesting story. This is the story I'm hearing, is that he was in the middle of quite a messy divorce, and his wife insisted on having the company, she had the company as part of the settlement. That's what I believe. But funnily enough, John brilliantly decided she could have it, but he insisted on having the letter J from the company name.
And that kind of put the kibosh on all those kits.
Yeah, so that's what I believe. That's the story I'm hearing. That's the story I'm hearing from it. So good on you, John. That was a masterstroke. If it's true, you're a legend in my eyes.
Because there's a motorcycle company called Janus Motorcycles in America.
Yeah.
And I always think they look really good, these motorcycles, because they're old school style motorcycles. But you'd have to be really careful if you're crouching over the tank.
Yeah, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful. We've got to be careful. We've had a couple of kits in the UK that never actually made it to the shelf. One of them that I get asked that many times. A guy called Sean Main that works for me. It was at the UK GK show, probably when you were there. and he did like the Night King on the throne. Did you see
No,
it? Remember?
you know what? That Night King on the throne
Was
is
amazing.
unbelievable because
Yeah.
it was massive, and I remember going for a
was
walk.
lovely,
It was
lad,
the
isn't
first one I ever attended. It before I didn't have my own table at the time. I just kind of walked.
Oh
to-
yeah, it was
and
great.
it was just outside Crewe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great.
And he'd worked on this, and I'd seen it online, and it was there in front of me, and I couldn't believe the size of it.
Oh, it's lovely.
It was just an amazing piece of work, and it had all the beauty of a real sort of late Victorian sculpture.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yet it had all the sort of like sharpness of a proper garage
Got all the
kit.
head, they've got the wolf's head and
the wolf's
everything
head
on
and
it.
everything. The textures were
Fantastic.
just
Guess why it
amazing.
never got produced?
Too big.
Didn't finish it.
He didn't finish it.
No,
Where is
simple.
it now?
God knows, he never finished it. That's the simple
And I
reason.
suppose, in a sense, you have to, with a kit like that, it has to be done and dusted at a particular space in time because there's no real going back for that.
No, it's
Because
probably,
it's probably just outlived its fame. hasn't it?
shelf life.
Yeah, that's a shame. That.
So it's a shame because it was a masterpiece. Sean's a lovely fella, but he just didn't finish it. End of story. There's no other reason why. I would have snapped his wrist off for it. I would have absolutely snapped his wrist off it.
A lot of kits, though, even the finished ones, sometimes spend a lot of time in the cupboard. Because various things like get in your way, don't they? Like family stuff and
I think so.
life, basically.
I think so. Another one that's quite amusing is, I may have told you this, so I'm sorry for repeating myself. There used to be a guy called Wigan Dave.
And this is where I say, why Wigan Dave was?
Because he used to wear wig. No, he come from he come from Wigan, and he come from Wigan for some reason. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For some reason, we affectionately christened him Wigan Dave.
Wigan Dave.
Right.
Yeah,
So he's a lovely fella. He's a big burly guy with a beard, glasses. Your typical, biggish bloke.
Yeah.
He used to have a taxi firm, and he was obsessed with Predator.
Giant Haystacks mould.
That's it. Yeah, Giant Haystacks.
If anybody remembers Giant Haystacks, if you're of our age, you'll remember.
Yeah, he was a
Giant Haystacks.
Yeah, you imagine Giant Haystacks. That's exactly what he looked. Yeah, big fella.
Yeah.
So this guy contacts me, Wigan Dave does, and he says, I want this Predator doing. Who do you suggest? So there was a guy at the time called Ian McLaughlin, who'd done quite a few Predators for me, and that was his thing. He loved Predator. So I put the guys together, and he basically had this project done. And to be fair, when he sent it to me, it was the pictures, Ian, it was amazing. And I thought, oh, I wish I'd had that myself.
Got a lot of opportunity on that kit, isn't there? For basically, it's a spectacular creature, isn't it? So not just the creature itself, but the textures in the armour and the uniform and the netting and
the
stuff
pose
like that.
was stunning. This would have been up there with the Narren classics, and I don't say that lightly. So basically, he finished this piece off. He arranged a price with Wigan Dave, and he arranged to meet him at the Reebok Stadium, which is a football ground.
Was it clay or was it?
It was Sculpey.
Sculpey. So it's brittle.
It was brittle.
Right.
So I goes there, meets Ian, gets this piece out, and I remember looking at it and thinking, wish I'd had that. I really do wish I'd had that. So anyway, we were waiting there. Yeah, it was Kit Envy. So he was there, and then Wigan Dave turns up in his estate car with his taxi on it, pulls up, gets out. Ian gets out, and I could see him talking. And Ian gets it out, puts it on the roof of his car, and he was blown away straight away. I've never seen anyone give so much money
quick before he puts the price up.
Yeah, and I'm stood there going, flipping heck, Dave, you missed a bullet. You missed that then. You missed that. So anyway, job well done. So we get back in the car, me and Ian, and Dave was still looking at it. He gets back in the car, and we're sat there. And all of a sudden, Dave pulls off.
And you're watching this in the room.
Yeah. So
like
basically, he's left it on the roof. So this so many £100 sculptures on the roof of his estate car, and it's all of a sudden it's like a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and it just went like that, and it just went whoosh.
The old tablecloth trick.
And we sort of sat there in the car, and he looks at me and Ian, and he said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Have you been paid?" And he went, "Yeah." I said,
"Drive really quickly."
And there it was. It was smashed to pieces. So that's another one that never seen the light.
That is real. I mean, but that's really. It's kind of funny, but kind of sad as well, because that could have been a fantastic
what do you do? Who picks up the tab for that?
Oh, well, it's one of those things, isn't it? You have to chalk it down to experience.
Ian sat there looking at me, and his face was a picture, because he's such a nice guy, and he was so pleased that he liked it. But it seemed to hang in the air for so long.
It's like that Wile E. Coyote when he goes over the cliff.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful piece, and he just went. Ka-tush. Oh no! And that was a classic.
I
Mate.
mean, do any kits not get made because they're just too complicated?
Yeah, I mean, Ian liked his Predators, so he didn't do them stood there. He did them all dramatic and the
Different
dreads
positions,
and
all
everything.
right,
And of course, David paid for this, and he paid for him to make it so spectacular. And then to see it die a death
Yeah.
there, it was just it was legend. Honestly, I just went, oh no. And to that day, I don't know what poor old Dave thought.
I suppose one of the advantage of sculpting in a 3D printer is that
You could do it. You could go and print it again.
you
couldn't you?
can print it again, or the point is that because a lot of in my previous house, a lot of my space was taken up by unfinished projects,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
now I've got unfinished projects. I did a Hunchback of Notre Dame based on the Anthony Quinn, and I got it quite right. Can never quite get the face because Anthony Quinn's got a very distinctive look, and and it was Gina Laura Brigida was in that film, and I love that movie. So he's not the best Hunchback of Notre Dame, but the bits of it are now I've got limited space. They're in the very top of my wardrobe with about 6 other kits, stuff that I'd done like this monster emerging from a drain and things like that I did, which was going to be part of that kind of Dr. Deadly Aurora series.
Right, yeah.
You know, like monster scenes.
Yes, I remember.
And I did a couple of these monster scenes, and people were asking me for it, and I wasn't quite getting it finished. I'm thinking, I'll put it in a box, and once it goes in the box, I know it sounds daft, but out of sight, out of mind.
Definitely.
And then because other things inspire you, so you pick up the clay and think, well, I'll finish that, but I want to do this, and then you get.
And it never gets done.
Never
does
gets.
It never gets done.
done.
It never gets done.
That's
So anyway, guys, we hope you've liked that. Bill's going to be doing some more reviews of some new releases on old releases a bit later on in this episode. So thanks for watching us, guys. Thanks for all the comments. We do appreciate it. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll keep it going. It has been well received. We're getting very, very, very close to the show now. So I'm hoping that the run up to the show, we're going to do a couple of bits for that, and then I'm going to send Bill round the show, and we're going to chat to the people there, and hopefully we'll meet some nice people.
24th of September, is that right?
30th.
30th of September.
30th. We've got an extra week, Bill.
Got an extra week?
Extra week. The 24th or 23rd is the Scale Scotland.
Oh, right, yeah.
Scale Scotland.
Scale Scotland.
Scale
Right.
Scotland.
Scale
So
Scotland.
there's going to be quite a few people there. I want to introduce Bill to a few guys he's not met before. Some fantastic painters going to be there. Couple of not so well known sculptors, but in my opinion, very underrated as well. More about that later. But this guy is a really nice guy, and he's a fantastic. And fully enough, he does sculpt up dinosaurs.
Is that the big T-Rex thing?
It's a guy. I'll introduce you to him. This guy
Right.
called Terry Norton.
Right.
He does some dinosaurs for a company down in Bristol. So
Oh,
I'll hook you guys up.
Looking forward to it.
Bacon, butter, a cup of coffee. Speak to you soon, guys.
See you soon.